big news in it. Erik Ten Hag is staying, Jim Campbell.
Massive
news. It was announced last night that he will stay at Manchester United for next season after the club completed their internal review and nobody else wanted the job.
What could make a club prouder of keeping a manager on than just dusting it out at 11 o'clock in the week of the Euros?
Yeah.
Do we hope no one will notice? They're probably, Cristiano Ronaldo's playing tonight. They'll probably be looking at him. Get it out there now.
Give him another contract. Give him an extension on his contract and make it more difficult and more expensive to get rid of him in November, December, January.
Eric's on the phone. Do you want me to do a press conference? I could do a big kind of quick...
No,
it's all right. It's all right.
You just have to enjoy your holiday, Eric.
You remain on holiday.
Yeah, the rest of the league are quaking enough as it is.
Do you think Louis van Gaal was on the phone straight away? I want an FA Cup, you didn't keep me on.
Yeah, he did actually say that.
Of course he should.
He said it a few weeks ago, didn't he, Louis van Gaal? I don't think it was a recent... Maybe it just resurfaced again a few weeks ago thinking about it, but he did say that, as he's repeatedly said, I won the FA Cup and they fired me.
And finished fourth, I think.
Certainly higher than the other this season.
We definitely know that. Definitely know
Man
that.
United, after pulling the heart of the FA Cup back in the 90s, I mean, they're resurrecting it in many ways. They're making it seem more important.
Yeah, because they completely ruined it in
the year 2000. Yeah, we're going back 24 years for this.
And rightly so.
We don't forget the FA Cup never forgets.
No. Never forgive them. I don't care what Man City ever do and what they've done.
No.
It'll never be worse than the way Man United treated the beloved FA Cup, aka the oldest cup competition in the world.
They owe us an apology. And
another one.
Keeping Erik Ten Hag is a good start.
Yeah, that'll do it. That'll gets us halfway there, doesn't it?
Keep that waterfall coming off that roof.
Definitely.
For crying out loud.
Now you're talking. Well, his contract runs until next June with an option to extend it by 12 months. Let's just do that now.
Yeah.
Do it now.
Lock him in.
It's very, very short, isn't it?
Yeah, it doesn't seem like
a huge endorsement. Despite him not being sacked.
Let me remind you of what our very own Andy Brassel said very recently on the Football Ramble. He said that Manchester United would keep Ten Hag as a scapegoat, to paraphrase him.
So kind of a useful idiot, basically. So if shit gets really bad, there's no point sacking him now because everyone's forgotten about the season.
Yes.
So when shit gets really bad, if it does, we can always, press button for Ten Hag to tip back in his chair and fall into that fiery pit.
Is there also a sense, perhaps, that because they've got a lot of new people in at board level, like Jason Wilcox has come in, Barada's come in from Man City, that it's almost a test of the system? A test of the new line up.
It's not all.
How it all works.
They've not kind of put everything in border level together yet, have they? So they're still sort of putting that together. But you do sort of think, well, are you just writing off this season again? Are you just sort of going, well, you're not going to achieve anything because we've given Erik Ten Hag another one?
It isn't. Yeah, it's a risky strategy, isn't it? If you don't really believe in him, which clearly they didn't for a bit, hence that they were talking to people, right? That's not a huge confidence booster for the manager. But is there something to say? Actually, obviously, we've enjoyed Manchester United in the season gone by, partly because they were so entertaining due to the goals they were shipping and the goals they were scoring as well,
and the shots they were facing.
The whole lot.
Really, really enjoyable.
But they played their part. A 4-4 draw needs them to score 4 goals. Okay,
so they did win the FA Cup,
and they did win the FA Cup, and was superb in that final, and actually made that final very, very enjoyable. Actually, for the neutral, let's be honest. So a little bit of credit where it's due. But I mean, Ten Hag's first season was deemed a success. They were decent. They finished third. They obviously won the League Cup as well. They've not done very well in the league this time round. Can we say, well, actually, there was a lot of off-the-field nonsense. There was a sort of if you like, a part takeover, or there was new people coming on the board. That can cause a bit of disarray. The bloody roof's leaking. You've got individual players. A lot of injuries. I know a lot of teams have that, but they did have a lot of injuries. You got odd situations with Jadon Sancho, which you could say was Ten Hag's fault.
He's played his part.
But he's played his part there.
Anthony as well.
Anthony again. On obviously Mason Greenwood.
Just Anthony.
Yeah.
All you've had to say there is just Anthony.
Anthony. Mentioned Mason Greenwood. There's a lot going off the pitch as well.
There always is at Man United.
Yeah. Well, there is, but so
Casemiro aging 10 years in a month.
I mean, again, we can't.
Casemiro going to that beach from that M. Night Shyamalan film. That's what's happened, isn't it?
So is there some way that Ten Hag actually can get back to more what he did in the first season?
So there's two ways of looking at it. I mean, there's the Ramble way of looking at it, which is it's really funny because
and I'm sorry for bringing a bit of calm and sensible.
And I'd prefer to stick to that one.
Yeah,
and we'll talk about that afterwards.
But I imagine we'll return to it.
Yeah, we probably will. It'll come up again. But the other way to look about it is the idea that as he said himself as well, look at the amount of injuries I had. Look at the fact that I never had a settled side. Look at the amount of centre-back partnerships I had to employ. Look at all this other stuff going on. And I think part of that is fair, but part of that is also just the idea of dealing with arguably the biggest club in the world, certainly one of the biggest clubs in the world. So I think what he should do next season, whenever anything goes wrong, is he should insist on doing the post-match interview under that hole in the roof. So like Sunak, he's just covered in water.
Well, he's not going to get his hair wet, is he?
Well, exactly, just splash off it.
Well, like
because bald people don't mind getting wet.
Yeah.
The tallest waterfall in China, a hiker recently discovered that the Chinese government had just installed a pipe at the top of it to keep it going.
So you reckon Man United have done it on purpose?
I reckon there's a pipe up there
from China.
From China, just spraying out water to make it more of a feature, I suppose.
Yeah, so almost
a tourist destination.
And where, Peter, is the highest waterfall in the world?
I don't.
Last
care.
I checked,
where is it?
Venezuela.
Oh,
yeah, makes sense.
It makes sense.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah,
it's very high country.
So are you suggesting that by the water they should turn the waterfall into a feature?
Yeah.
Maybe put a nice table for two in front of it.
And
There you
a
go.
swimming pool like Fulham.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
Now you're talking. And is it? I forget which end, but if it's near the away end, then
You've just got to rebrand it as a water feature.
Yeah. I don't think
When
it
they
is
have
near
the
the away
BT
end.
pundits the TNT pundits on the pitch,
Yeah.
with the little desk, have it in front of that.
Just put Michael Owen under it.
I'd love to see
Have
that.
you got the bravery, Michael?
Michael
Michael
Richards was enjoyed too
you
much.
just dare him and he'd do it
He would
every
do it.
time, and he would never realise that was what was happening.
As long as his dad was standing next to him, giving him a nod.
Yeah.
Which is all he
I
wanted.
sincerely hope that fact about Venezuela is true. Otherwise, I'm getting the tweets.
I'll just Google it while you're here, mate.
Why
Don't
not?
worry, you carry on.
Mop up for me.
So, sort of continuing down the boring route of being
Angel
fair and
Falls.
objective.
Angel Falls. Sorry, Jim, this is important.
Sorry.
Angel Falls, Venezuela.
Yeah,
Carry on, Jim.
famously. Yeah.
There are, we were talking towards the end of the season, there are some positives for Man United. If you look at Garnacho, Højlund and Mainu in particular, there are players there where you think, actually, this could be the crux of something really, really special in the future if they build around these players and they do it sensibly. I think the biggest disruption has been, as you alluded to, Luke, that lack of coherence in the centre-back pairings. I think they used something like 14 different pairings over the season. And I've seen those arguments and I do understand them. But also, despite that, look at the way Ten Hag has managed what he's had in front of him. And it doesn't really make me feel like he's going to sort of get fireworks out of the squad when he's got everybody fit and ready. He doesn't strike me as someone who's going to sort of take the league by storm if just a few things went his way.
It felt messy and it felt like he'd lost it.
Totally, and you've got to understand that that's borne out by the Premier League table. In the cup competitions, as Marcus has already mentioned, he's done okay, right?
He's done very well.
Yeah, more than okay. He's probably done something. He's probably done something commensurate with what a traditional Man United would be looking to do, right?
And the league table doesn't look as bad because Villa kind of fell away at the back end of the season.
I think
is that fair?
Yeah, but that's probably for the top four argument because they only finished 8 points off fourth, right? But if you're talking about the fact that people like the Ineos team have come in there. What's his name? Jim Radcliffe. I forgot his name.
Sir Jim.
Yeah, Sir Jim Radcliffe. Sorry, have come in there because they want a challenge for the league. Well, the problems we've identified with Man United here do not constitute a 31-point swing between where they finished and where the top of the table was. And the reality is you've got to be amazing now to finish anywhere near the top. I mean, Arsenal last season scored 91 goals and got 89 points and win the league. That's the standard. They're miles from that. There's nothing you can say that suggests that they're going to do that. I mean, even if they do make improvements, and that brings me down to the very crux of the point, which is this. If you're giving someone, as one of you guys mentioned, maybe Pete mentioned, that it's such a short contract, even if you're going to improve the team, what kind of long-term plan is it? Because you can now say, well, okay, we're going to bring these players in, but actually we don't properly trust the manager. Maybe he's been given had a little carrot dangled, not Paul Scholes' but like a little carrot dangled, saying if you do well, we'll extend it. But all these new players come in. What kind of message does it send? Well, the manager's not going to be here for long anyway.
Which is why I think Andy was probably spot on with his prediction there.
Use Paul Scholes' carrot as a scapegoat.
Yeah.
It's popped up again. Damn.
Do you think, like, when he... Remember that video of him gnawing on someone's foot?
It was his daughter's toenails, wasn't it?
I think he'd gnaw on his own carrot if he could.
Well, I'm not a man at the dart who nibbled his son's ear.
Oh, yeah, and he never got found, I don't think.
He never got found.
I don't think so, no.
Surely you can
Was it
find
not
that
the
man.
snooker? Not the dart.
Snooker darts.
It was the snooker.
Was it Crucible?
I think it was the snooker.
Did they both happen there? I don't know.
Absolutely besmirching an amazing venue in the Crucible.
Sorry, did they both happen there? What?
Paul Scholes was biting his daughter's toenails on Instagram, and the location of that event is unconfirmed.
Unknown. Right,
I don't reckon it was the Crucible.
Probably
It was
wasn't
in
the
Paul
Crucible.
Scholes' tour book,
The north of England, certainly, but not the Crucible.
Right.
I imagine it was probably somewhere near Oldham.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Jim, let's talk about João Palhinha. The Fulham player, João Palhinha.
The Fulham player, João Palhinha.
It's quite a brave thing to say at this time of recording.
Well, they've rejected Bayern's initial offer. Bayern were preparing, or said to be preparing, a new offer for Palhinha. I think it was 38 million. They turned down.
Won't get you one of his legs.
No. Well, I sort of was reluctant and thought, well, maybe this and the other. Bang! The Fulham board haven't let me down.
Yeah. No.
70 million.
Yeah.
That's what you got to pay for the big man.
And the good thing is, at the end of all this, João Palhinha, you'll be playing for Vinny Company. So
wasn't he like? Didn't they put an offer in for like a lot more last season? I know there's depreciation, but he's enhanced his
You'd have thought
his
so.
legend.
He's 6 months older now.
Yeah. Well, they were, they're just testing the water, aren't they? The talk is that Man United could come in.
Yeah, Barcelona were linked. I was like, will they not learn how basic arithmetic works?
Yeah.
You know, like, you just can't keep spending, lads.
The best thing that can happen here is that João Palhinha, in training, he's presumably training, he probably won't be because they played last night, in his recovery today at Portugal, tears a hamstring that keeps him out for exactly 4 months. Do you know what I mean?
Right, well, until the window shuts,
Yeah, because Fulham keep him. He'd probably recover quite well. Not a serious injury. Don't want that.
Yes.
Won't have a recurrence, but then he stays because I think if it's starting this early, it's probably going to happen, isn't it? Because the lesson learned from last time appears to be that it started quite late and they didn't get it done in time.
And Fulham didn't have time to get a replacement, which is what they'll do. I mean, the Fulham board have been quite canny, actually, certainly with this signing, but even with Mitrovic and so on, they held out because they thought, we're in a position here. We're a Premier League club, mid-table Premier League club. We don't have to sell. You know, a club which has got a few quid with the owner and so on.
I thought they did.
So you don't have to be bullied and pushed around. And you know,
it's a different situation, but you can compare it to Mitrovic though, because different character, different destination,
very different character. Yeah,
Saudi would have just paid, and I think they did particularly well. Fulham to hold their nerve for a couple of reasons. One, because Mitrovic is absolutely the kind of guy who would have gone on strike and was talking about that.
And did.
And secondly, Saudi would have paid whatever money, so it's kind of easy. But with Palhinha...
Well, I talked about his professionalism before, how he will, even if he... I mean, as I say, he was holding the Bayern shirt. He was in Munich. And then, back on the plane, son. Back, here you come. And he was just bang, straight back at the races. So
just slide tackling everywhere.
Yeah, exactly.
Slide tackled his way all the way back to London.
Why do I have to come back? We've watered the pitch for you. I'm there. So I look.
Put your trunks on.
So I look. It is likely he will go because this has been happening. As I say, how Fulham got him in the first place was quite incredible. But again, Fulham are playing it well. We don't have to be pushed around. And exactly. And the club said, didn't they? When it came to Mitrovic, they waited and got a very, very good fee for him, I think, all things considered. So that's probably what will happen with Palhinha. And if they don't get that fee, then they're not going to sell because Fulham are a very different team without Palhinha in there. So there we are. Now, how
Stiff
about
upper lip and all that, eh?
Exactly,
yeah, exactly.
Jimmy, exactly. Now then, gentlemen, let's turn our attention to the young Benjamin Šeško, who has a bit Sean Connery, isn't that? Šeško.
Yeah. Sounds like him describing a 90s R&B singer.
Like it.
Let me see that song.
Jim getting involved.
That's on Jim.
Yeah, you take over when I don't fancy it, which I always do.
Sounded a bit like Nick Hewer. Marcus's face, he's fuming. It cuts to the very core of him, doesn't it?
Anyway,
it does.
The former president of South Africa.
You've twisted my arm. Šeško has. You just do it, don't you?
Yeah.
He's decided to stay at RB Leipzig and sign a new contract on improved terms.
Did you ever look in his eyes so devilish?
Indeed, he was linked to Arsenal and Chelsea. He's very highly rated.
Yeah. Andy was right about this one as well, which I'm fuming about. Yeah. We can't start the first half of this show doing two things that Andy's right about.
Yeah.
The only thing that's making it better is he's not here to smugly smile back at me.
Yeah,
because when we brought Andy on board, we thought that was the point.
Yeah,
right. It's actually, it feels like a form of tyranny, doesn't it?
A little bit.
I had an interview a while back where someone said, "Oh yeah, and you've got like Andy in, who's like a proper European football journalist," and I was like, "Yeah, that's not why I've got him in. We've got him in.
Knock him down a peg or two.
We've got him in to take the piss out of the geezer."
I heard him on a radio station over the weekend, and they went, "Could you hang around because obviously you want to talk about the other matches that are taking place in the Euros?" And he went, "Yeah, all right then."
He's turned into Ramesh Ranganathan of football.
All right.
He's everywhere.
Fine.
I don't think I should have to turn the telly on and see him.
Yeah, it's getting a bit much, isn't it?
Yeah.
And of course, we're interested in this young man because he will probably almost certainly be facing England in the group stages of the Euros.
Because he's famously
Slovenia.
Danish. He's famously Danish.
He's up front for Slovenia.
Little Lurpak slug.
No, he's Danish. That's what Andy was saying.
Yes, of course, Jim. He'll be playing for Denmark or Slovenia. Either way, England will face
He hasn't
him.
decided yet.
Yeah, he could play for both of them.
Yeah. What's he doing here again? He scored a hat-trick against in the first game for Serbia.
He's after the golden boot.
I believe there's a few people who've made like little DJ remixes of Sheshko's on fire, Your Defence is Terrified.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's perfect for Sheshko's on fire, like as in the Kings of Leon song.
Oh,
Yeah,
the Sheshko's on fire. Yeah.
Perfect.
It is perfect.
I want to hear that on the terraces.
People aren't imaginative enough sometimes.
No, they're really
It
not.
totally is. It's definitely worth it to do it. The Kings of Leon one. It's much better.
You've still got a couple of days, Peter. Get some
Get
songs
it
out
out,
there for
yeah.
the fans.
You've had the YouTube channel wrestled from you now, though, haven't you?
Not allowed. It's the two-factor authentication. I can never get through it.
By the way,
It's
who's-
3 numbers I can never guess.
It's something you're interested in, Peter. Who's doing the opening ceremony for the Euros?
Oh, I don't actually know.
Is it Childish Gambino?
Is it Charles Gambino again?
I'm going to Google that as
It'll
well.
be somebody. It'll be Rita Ora. It will be a C-grade talent.
Dua Lipa?
It's too big.
Yeah, she's too big.
mate. She's
No, I
huge.
don't think it'll be C grade. I think they're going at least B list.
Nah.
You
I think it's
So
C.
Euro 2020 was Andrea Bocelli, Martin Garrix,
Mm-hmm.
Bono, and The Edge.
Yeah,
I mean, bottom of the edge.
until the end of it.
Right.
That was
Yeah.
genuinely really inspiring, wasn't it? But it was correct.
Well done, Jim.
I mean, as of the Even Standard reporting as of an hour ago, it's yet to be confirmed.
There's so many
so,
kind of and that's
Could
why
be Hasselhoff, couldn't it? It's in Germany.
Oh.
Could be the Hoff.
it could be Tokyo Hotel, the boy band from the 90s. I think.
I don't know. I literally have no idea
Scorpions.
who that is.
They were German.
Scorpions.
David
Nice.
Hasselhoff stood on a defensive wall,
Yeah.
bringing it down.
Like it,
That'd be nice.
Jim. Yeah, they've got
Were the
options.
Scorpions German?
Yeah.
Oh.
I think
I thought they were American, but they weren't they a plant?
Do you want to
Reportedly.
explain to more of?
Hang on, there's a conspiracy theory about the
No,
Scorpions.
he's-
Wind of change, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you really want me to go into this?
Yes,
So
I
it takes
do.
ages.
I think you have to now.
So the Scorpions' biggest hit, "Wind of Change," which is all about
Their biggest hit.
It became.
What else did they
It
have?
became an anthem. Well, what am I saying? It's untrue. Then it became the anthem of the ending of the Cold War and the collapsing of the Berlin Wall, and a lot of it's about Russia and stuff, and the Soviet Union as it was. And the big conspiracy theory that was explored in the podcast series, actually called "Wind of Change," is that it was written by the CIA and planted so people would get involved with it and the themes within it to help the US or the West, I guess, win the Cold War.
If that's true, get the CIA on more
I
credits.
know exactly.
It's a belter.
Yeah.
Dua Lipa featuring the CIA.
Why have they stopped? Why have they stopped at that one song?
Sponsored by Raytheon.
Maybe they haven't stopped.
There are some
Yeah.
people deep undercover that have got the most fun CIA jobs.
Yeah.
If that can be your project,
Writing
Yeah.
bangers.
Sign
Peter,
me
do
up.
you want to explain to some of our more recent listeners why we've just taken the piss out of you by saying Childish Gambino? I'd love to hear your
Because I'm always disappointed with World Cup opening acts.
It was Robbie Williams at
Robbie
the
Williams
time.
in Russia, wasn't it? Because he loves doing a party for an oligarch, doesn't he? But I'm just always disappointed at the level when this is FIFA. They have unlimited amounts of money. UEFA have unlimited amounts of money, and yet the acts we get are always Robbie Williams level.
But why did you specifically choose Childish Gambino?
Because he was top of the charts, and I'm old.
What about Kendrick Lamar doing a diss track?
Kendrick Lamar.
oh, that'd be amazing.
Get Drake doing
Diss
some
track-
wet
diss track
music.
to FIFA.
Johnny Infantino.
Yeah, and Infantino. That would be good.
That'd be class.
That would be
Yeah.
good.
That'd be really good.
UEFA presumably would be up for that as well.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
or maybe actually Seferin does it.
Yeah.
Over to you.
I think Rita Ora's taken some strays from you. No, she's done nothing wrong.
I think it'll be. They want him to get Sheeran, who is a global act, but he
wouldn't do it.
Not really
No,
there.
wouldn't
for
he
me.
do it?
Right.
No.
not if he,
he's
not
not
unless he can
interested.
wear his Ipswich Town shirt.
Exactly.
We'll probably cover this on the preview, I expect, which is coming later in the week anyway.
I should say so. I
Yeah.
should say so. So there we are. I think you've all learned a lot about Sheshko there. He will be playing against England for one of the opposition teams.
If he
in
does the
group.
thong song in the opening ceremony, that'd be fucking
Is
good.
that the type of analysis? We can't even determine which national team will be played for.
We know,
Slovenia.
listen,
We
joking
know.
aside, we know he's Danish.
Yeah.
Leipzig turns out some players, don't they? They just sign anyone from there, and they're usually good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it.
Do
yeah.
that.
from the former East Germany, of course.
There we go.
21 Pilots. I think they might do it.
Fucking
21 Pilots.
What is he talking about?
Bands have gone off the boil.
Let's talk about the Club World Cup. Now, gentlemen.
As FIFA would love us to be doing on the eve of the Euros.
Yeah, let's talk about the Club World Cup. Let's get this rubbish out of the way until the second half begins. It was great, wasn't it? Carlo Ancelotti giving a very, very clear view on what he thought about the Club World Cup. Real Madrid obviously clipped his wings and he went, my words, I can't believe you interpreted them like that.
It was pretty unequivocal.
Yeah. well, let's see. Let's see.
Because it sounds to me like this interview was given on the bus during the parade.
It was an Italian newspaper.
Yeah, I think he thought it wasn't going to be picked up, which is mental. But anyway, listen to whether you think these words could potentially be misconstrued and how ambiguous they think they are.
FIFA can forget it. That's the beginning. Just quite Italian-American. They can forget about it. Footballers and clubs will not participate in that tournament.
All of them.
Okay, where's the interpretation there? A single Real Madrid match is worth 20 million and FIFA wants to give us that amount for the whole cup. Negative. Like us, other clubs will refuse the invitation.
I love negative.
So
we're going to take part. Not.
It's like he's on some kind of aircraft carrier asking if it's clearance to land. That's a negative.
Where is the wiggle room for interpretation there?
Yeah. It's outrageous.
Yeah.
But the thing is, though, because he's talking about money here, what this will surely do is just... It essentially puts the ball back in FIFA's court, doesn't it? It's like, Real Madrid, if Real Madrid don't do it, everyone will collapse. It's sort of pointless without them. So if they want more money,
you reckon they'll
probably get more money. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And house always wins, doesn't it?
Yes, indeed. Well, Real Madrid did release a statement saying, at no time has there been any question regarding our participation in the new Club World Cup.
Apart from when your manager literally said it's not happening.
Yeah. I was disappointed to see that that Madrid had come out and said this, because I thought actually if they're showing opposition to this tournament, then perhaps the whole thing is going to sort of fall down around us, but perhaps not.
Yeah, it is a shame, because it would have been incredible had they have led the charge on that. But again,
it did seem a bit too good to be true.
It seemed very unlikely.
The problem,
Juventus guy, oh no, this is immoral.
The problem is Real Madrid aren't the prime candidates to pull the plug on this, because they're so obsessed with their own legacy and their own position at the top of the game, particularly when it comes to things like the European Cup and the Champions League, that I just don't think they would ever not do it.
They'll wait and see, won't they? If it has prestige, they'll want to dominate it.
There may be some other big clubs who are potentially not quite like that may do it. But as I said to you guys before, without getting too serious, because I know you want to talk about Sean Dyche and the nightclub, there's going to be a limitation on players now. When they sign contracts, they're going to probably sign... I think what they should do is sign contracts with the maximum amount of games they can play per year, which would be the next step, I think, and that's the right thing to do.
The right thing to do. Before we go for a break, everybody, yes, Sean Dyche was photographed in an Ibiza nightclub recently, which is DC10, if you're wanting to know which club. I don't know either. Alongside Camel Fat. Big fan. Big fat. Love Camel Fat.
I'd literally never heard of Camel Fat.
It sounds like Rory wrote this because he's back into his dance music. One of Camel Fat is called Dave Whelan, though.
Oh, nice. Really?
So he might have been confused. Trying to get a job somewhere else.
Did you guys know Dave William broke his leg?
Come on.
Okay. What's the deal with Sean Dyche?
He's having it, isn't he?
He loves music, doesn't he? He goes to Glastonbury fairly regularly, I believe, or certainly loves a music festival in the summer.
I thought he was
a rocker.
He's all things to all people, and I think he's
not.
Well, so fine. The point in case, because I think you in particular give Sean Dyche a hard time, and I think he's a more well-rounded and cultured chap than you give him credit for.
I've got no comment to make. I think those comments speak for themselves.
Great. Coming up in the second half, we have got Tom Heaton joining the England camp, and we've got some pre-Euros questions from your good selves, listeners. See you in a moment.
Sounds like this guy's pretty special between the sheets. Between the sticks, I should say.
Just a bit of banter there, everybody. Nick Pope, special between the sheets.
Yeah.
Now, big news.
This is the biggest news of the summer for you, presumably.
Thus far.
Yeah.
Thus far. A lot of people tweeted me that. Thank you very much. Tom Heaton has joined the England camp. Yes, indeed. He's not going to be playing, sadly, unless there's an injury to one of the three goalkeepers.
Well, even if there's an injury to a goalkeeper, it'll be James Trafford, presumably. Yeah. And then after that...
Not now, no.
Or if there's an injury in the beautiful south, he'll take over there.
Yeah, that is a very... I'll tell you what, that's one for the kids.
Come on.
Yeah. Well done, mate.
Come on.
Well done.
Outrageous, Peter.
From the ugly
Tom
north
Heaton
to the beautiful south.
I'm telling you now,
tricks at England.
I'm telling you now, if one of Pickford, Ramsdale, or Henderson gets injured, it'll be Trafford. And then if Trafford or one of the other two get injured, it'll then be Heaton.
Let's sincerely hope none of that happens.
Sure.
But Tom Heaton, he's if you've heard about the role he's going to be fulfilling in this in the England camp, and it makes total sense that he will be used in training as a goalkeeper. Obviously, it'd be unlikely if he was used as a striker.
Yeah.
But of course, the goalkeeping training can be quite intense. But if you need to do a few more drills and have a proper goalkeeper in there, it's like rather than one of the tired lads who have put the shift in or whatever, it's like, well, we'll just use Tom Heaton. And also, they like the man's character, which is I've often,
You're a great judge of character, clearly.
Indeed, and they said that his professionalism, his good vibes will be great around the camp, and I couldn't agree more.
Might they need a sort of a counter vibes man to shithouse?
No.
Just to be prepared.
Are you thinking Emi Martinez? He's not going to be involved in the Euros.
He wouldn't do it. It'd be absolute sabotage there if you even gave him a chance. But teams are going to do it. Why not have it in training? Get people ready for it.
Get Carson in. He's always the bridesmaid, isn't he?
Perfect.
Bridesmaid vibe boy.
No, you see, I feel I've been totally vindicated by this.
Yeah, I'm sure you do. There's absolutely no doubt in my mind of that.
People have been attacking you for liking Tom Heaton.
I have often been criticised because I said he's a lovely
People throwing
man.
milkshakes at you.
Yeah.
Rocks from a building site on the top of your bus.
And it's the last time I stand next to you. but with Heaton, that's it. He's basically got in because his professionalism, and he's a lovely, lovely, great man to have around the camp.
And needless to say, you've had the last laugh.
Hardly Brassel-esque, is it?
The other part of it is that a lot of outfield training drills require goalkeepers, right?
Yes.
Of decent
Yeah.
quality.
Yeah.
And that can supplement the work that the keepers are doing for themselves.
Exactly.
So it makes sense to have one who's not under pressure to play.
Why?
the burden a
I said it before, though. Why don't we allow fringe England concerns to just join the squad and
Well,
just
you can
piss about in training?
Lampard and
Piss about.
Frank Lampard and Rio Ferdinand.
That's why.
Were a part of the camp in Euro '96, I believe,
Right.
Just to kind of get a bit of
Just to hang
experience.
out.
So, I've said this, you know those
Rio
aeroplanes.
Ferdinand doing his prank show.
Mate, not at that time, no. But those aeroplanes that look like Vincent Company. I said, pack one of them with everybody. Get everybody and get everyone over there.
You wanted it was an 85-man squad you wanted, wasn't it?
Well, not the squad, but an 80. Yeah, I want an entourage.
Yeah,
Ross Barkley.
hang-ons.
Everybody.
Is that not a bit Baden-Baden, though?
It is a bit Baden-Baden.
You have to have certain rules so certain things don't happen in
Yeah.
Baden-Baden, which we obviously can't talk about on this podcast.
Pete, you. I mean, as a vibesman yourself,
Yeah.
you must have a take on this.
Yeah, I think someone should have, and their bag, they should be able to turn up, do whatever they want, like just hang out, but their bags will be filled with Monster Munch and, I don't know, Peperamis if anyone gets hungry.
There you go. Do you consider yourself a vibesman? Presumably that comment you do.
Yeah,
comment
just
you do.
hang out on the, and if anyone
you
needs
think
me to
this-
lift them
If
up.
anyone gets hungry, here's some sizzling bacon with that Monster Munch?
Most of them probably pickled onion.
Pickled
wouldn't
Probably
they?
pickled onion with the
Classic.
famous one.
Yeah, Peter, would you? I mean, is there any problem you think can't be solved by a pepperami?
I don't think so, because there's three parts: metal of the outside sort of wrapper that you could use to fix something.
Yeah, plastic.
The plastic.
Which Jack D
condom.
used to eat all the time.
Yeah,
Condom.
Yeah, it's good stuff. And then the sustenance of the meat
The
inside.
protein to keep you going.
You can melt it down for oil to oil something.
I think people will be absolutely stunned that we haven't picked up pepperami as a sponsor. It's so on brand for us.
Can you melt pepperami into an oil?
Didn't even question
It's
it.
quite an oily meat, isn't it? If you rendered that fat, you could make a little bit
What
of
would you
oil.
do? What are you doing with that? It's like some kind
fix
of
a squeaky door. And that now rats will be attracted
The
to.
pressure's on Tom Heaton here with this kind of
really is.
vibe. This level of vibes.
What are you
we've
bringing,
got
Tom?
here.
What are you bringing, Tom?
Shows your Monster Munch, Tom.
Yeah.
Tom Heaton.
Is
trivia.
his
What's
shin
he up
pads
to?
are small? Are they peperamis?
Yeah. Now, the pressing news for England is that it's been widely reported that Trent Alexander-Arnold will start in midfield for England's first game against Serbia. This is interesting. On Lions Watch in particular, but also on the Ramble, we've talked a lot about that midfield. I've said all along, I can't see Foden playing in that midfield in the centre with Bellingham, which I know a lot of people are keen for, but it's apparently in training they've never really showed much of that as well. So it would appear that no prizes for saying it will be Rice, Bellingham and one other. I suggested Mainoo. Other people thought maybe Gallagher for his sort of pressing and in industry. Others have mentioned even Adam Wharton. Maybe you could try him. But it does seem to be that Trent Alexander-Arnold is the likely candidate, Jim.
It does. And the thing that I find really exciting about this, because I think it's a good choice, is that obviously he's in there for his passing range primarily. That's a big part of it. It's a a thing that no one else can really give you in terms of the quality that Alexander-Arnold has. But also, he's a really, really creative player. And it's actually a really attacking selection,
Which is what people want.
Yeah, it's tempting to think because he's, his day job is as a defender, that actually this is done to sort of bring security and to bolster it. But I don't know if it's actually going to play out like that at all.
But there's always a lot of suggestions that he would move into the centre.
Yeah,
of the pitch.
absolutely. But I mean, there were suggestions it would even be a little bit higher up than that he'd be a sort of creative attacking midfielder, and we may well see that play out. And I'm kind of excited to see how this is going to click together, because I think it's the choice I would make. Obviously, Gareth Southgate knows better than me, but on this occasion agrees with me entirely.
I like
Vindication again.
Indeed.
Needless to
Lot of it
say,
going around.
Exactly. I like the idea that it says to me, it exudes confidence, and it says to me, with a team like Slovenia, the opening game, and famous last words and all that, and the beauty part about this for us is that there's loads of people who don't support England listening to this, who want to laugh at us, which I'd like to say to them in no uncertain terms, the moment you listen, we've still won.
Yeah.
So that's fine.
Buy a pepperami.
Yeah, get yourself a pepperami and enjoy it. Sit back, put your feet up in front of the telly, have a pepperami and have a good time. But it says to me that we're saying to Slovenia, we're better than you, and we will overwhelm you with this quality and this talent.
Serbia is the first game.
Sorry, Serbia. I was getting confused with Benjamin Sesko again.
You were, yeah.
So in the first
Is he
game,
playing for Serbia as well?
in the first game against Denmark, we will overwhelm you. I'm doing it on purpose. And you will not be able to handle what we've got.
Which is interesting because Serbia themselves have a pretty handy side, actually.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously.
And so what we're going to do is we're going to play a man in midfield who quite simply hasn't played in that position a single time for his club this season.
And Southgate has repeatedly said that he's not sure that he's the finished article in that position as well. So
he's had a bit of a complicated relationship with Alexander-Arnold, hasn't he, over the years? He's not always picked him. He's not always made squads.
Well, but he's been there by and large for the tournaments. When he got injured on the eve of the last Euros, he was there in Qatar, I believe. I think he was even there in Russia. So he actually has picked him for the main three. But he's just not played much. He's not played him.
There's also been times when people have been crying out for him and he wasn't even part of the squad.
Yeah, there was that, but that was when it was a clear dip in form. But he got back into the Euros, and he said to Alexander-Arnold when he picked him, he said, I'd already spoken to him and said, don't worry, you're in. He just got an injury pre-tournament.
Fair. And what I like about it is I think that the biggest criticism that's been made of Southgate, as we've talked about, is that he's too conservative, he's not adventurous enough, blah, blah, blah. Alexander-Arnold, if he's given the free rein and we think we can cover the kind of gaps elsewhere against the team we believe we're better than, can drop hand grenades all over the pitch.
Absolutely.
And that's exciting.
Also, Serbia play with a back five. So having someone who can pick a lock or, put in a quality ball first time might be absolutely crucial.
Yeah, indeed. Let's move on to some of the questions our good listeners have supplied us with.
Are they all good listeners or are there some bad listeners? Any bad eggs?
We shall see.
All right.
We shall see.
Let's hear from the bad eggs.
Yeah, there's bound to be one or two.
Wow, call for that.
But we appreciate you listening nonetheless. This is from James, who says, what is the worst thing that could happen in England's first game? And as an addendum to that, Patreon member Lewis asked, is the ideal scenario for Marcus a 4-3 England win but a Mitrovic hat-trick?
Would you take that now?
It would be more vindication.
He'd end up in tears. Come back, Mitro. He'd be like the guy singing the Jose Mourinho song, but just about Mitrovic.
Yeah.
The worst thing could happen in England's first game.
A loss, presumably.
Pick an England player at random. Harry Kane, right? Yeah. He's running down the wings, down the flank, and his old chap flops out.
Right, yeah.
But it's a pepperami.
It's a bit of an animal. And
that would vindicate Peter with regards to Tom Heaton. What's in Tom Heaton's bag? Would anybody like to honour James by answering the question?
Yeah, England lose.
England lose. England lose is obviously terrible, but I think injuries to Rice, Trippier, or Kane, or all three of them,
or Pickford,
would be
Kane never gets injured, though, does he really?
Well, he doesn't, but
he has been injured towards the end of the season. He had to sit out last.
But you're talking about England.
But like for England, he just always seems to be there.
He's more often than not available.
Even
for
dead
England.
rubbers and friendlies, I want my records.
But as good as Watkins and Tony are, Kane is one of the best players in the world, and the drop-off is inevitable. He's scored so many goals at tournaments, always turns up for England. That would be absolutely devastating. And Rice, I just don't know who you'd replace him with. It'd be probably Wharton, maybe
Marcus has consistently this summer said, or this spring, Rice above Kane and Pickford. They're the top three for you, right? Who are most important. Yeah. So injuries to them would be really, really tough.
Wharton and Mainoo are both really, really exciting players, and I think they both do a good job for England. But the fact is, they're so inexperienced that we don't know.
Yeah,
correct.
And those positions are the ones we'd be the most vulnerable if we lost those players. I think
it would be quite damning if Mitrovic and Tadic were basically to to be very creative and bully that England backline.
That's the concern.
They've got an amazing relationship, by the way.
They do, and I think,
motivation to do it.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, and I think that actually we're concerned about England's backline, as we have been in previous tournaments, and it's actually not been the area of the pitch where England have come up short, even though I understand if you lose a game, you've conceded goals, but actually England have been pretty good defensively, and the stats would back that up. But I think if Mitrovic was to bully, as I say, like Gay, where you think, oh my goodness, we really miss Maguire, or whoever plays left back, it would probably almost certainly be Trippier in that first game. I think that would be dreadful. But I mean, look,
for
this
me,
is very negative. Of
course.
It
is. But I think the thing I'd be most frightened of is that in every big tournament, pretty much without exception, there's a fancy team that just has an absolute stinker and goes home in the group phase. Germany in the World Cup, Belgium in the World Cup as well.
Yeah, although with the Euros, with that third place finish, it would have to be particularly poor.
And that's what I'm frightened of.
Yeah,
we can do it.
Wembley, we can absolutely do it. Can I just say as well, the thing I fear most is Uri Geller turning on us.
Oh my goodness!
That
well, he's kind of declared for Scotland, didn't he? When they won that penalty shootout last time against Serbia,
and no one noticed.
Yeah.
The problem is,
didn't they? The 0-0 at Wembley.
You hit on the head there, saying that Serbia are capable, and it's such a rarefied atmosphere playing just 3 games in a high stakes way that if you start off on the bad foot, it becomes tough. I mean, effectively, if you're going to start badly, and this happened in the 2014 World Cup for England, you're basically out if you lose the first 2 games. I know it's different because you've got a third place in there now, and you can potentially go through with 2 or 3 points, I guess. But it's really, really tough. You've got to start well. You just have to. And sometimes teams in the past have dusted their way through the group just about, like in Italy or whatever.
Portugal in 2016.
And then they went on to do it. But generally speaking, you've got to start well. So the worst thing that could happen for England's first game is just not starting well. I know it sounds really obvious, but that's not ideal.
This from Tom. If you were England manager on vibes alone, who would you add to the backroom staff to help England go all the way in Germany?
Pepperami Pete.
Yeah.
It's got to be, isn't it?
Pete Donaldson would be up there.
DJ Grelo. Just in the corner.
Oh, that would be a mind game, wouldn't it? Mind game for Anthony Gordon. Gordon. But let me give you a scenario. They're all the team are at the squad are at the hotel chilling out. A couple of them by the pool. One of them's playing table tennis with the other one. Whatever, and walking up the quite long drive because it's a nice hotel. Probably a resort with a golf course and everything.
Oh, it's very fancy.
I bet it is. Walking up the drive, long old walk. So the walk goes on for ages, a bit like in Monty Python with the horses, and they never get any closer.
Okay.
Is Pete backpack on, 2 holdalls, and pepperami's just busting out of every bag, dropping on the floor.
He's not getting past security.
If you're not inspired by that,
go
home.
Past security.
I think I'd be taken out by a sniper almost immediately.
I don't think they've got their own sniper, have they?
Well, I mean, you'd hope so, wouldn't you?
All right. On vibes alone.
Ashley Cole.
On vibes alone, who would you add to the backroom staff to help England go all the
Hi guys, I'm here.
A sniper.
Yeah.
any sniper.
He could absorb all the problems.
SEAL Team 6 is who I'd bring in.
Surely, and I've mentioned this man far too many times on the Ramble, but Tom Skinner.
Yeah, Bosh.
Get
him to Bosh it.
Yeah.
Spyro the Dragon.
Sam Allardyce
is the sort of, here's what it could have been.
Where's
appreciate what it actually is.
The only words I've ever heard Sam Allardyce say in person in my presence are, "Where's me cab?"
To Sam Allardyce, I would say that's not the right
If someone
answer.
didn't know who Sam was, he'd presume he's a taxi driver.
Yeah.
Because he looks like a taxi driver.
Or like the owner of like a semi-successful
kitchen showroom or something like that.
Car garage.
Yeah.
Maybe something like that.
No, dealership.
A dealership is what I meant. Yeah.
This from Josh. What would be your OTC style food recommendation for the tournament?
Ooh.
Currywurst, man.
Yeah, it's an obvious one to say.
But you can't go to Germany. Bring Germany to you.
Pork knuckle.
Pork knuckle.
I'm not really sure
beer.
to prep that.
A massive beer.
A tournament staple of mine is the
All day
frozen
breakfast.
double-decker.
Oh.
Frozen double-decker.
Frozen double-decker.
Oh.
I started it in, I think, possibly
Dirty boy.
2018.
2018, yeah. I lived with an Irishman who swore by it. Frozen double-decker. You've got to be careful with your teeth, obviously, but it is fantastic.
It was 9 degrees this morning on the way in. You did not need to cool down.
You didn't do that in Qatar, did you? Well, not in Qatar, but as in...
I would have done, yeah. It's because, actually, well, maybe...
No, you would have
know
done
what?
there,
I might
but not
have done-
here.
I might have done for nostalgia.
but you're saying it's a summer treat, though.
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah, indeed.
Very much so. Also, artichoke fritti, which I think is a Spanish dish.
Where's this come
essentially-
from?
It's essentially
Let
deep fried
him.
artichoke, and it is magnificent.
Yeah.
There we go.
I think that's
Get on board.
that's lovely. That
I mean, it sounds nice. I just didn't expect him to say it.
You just said some obvious answers.
It
Jim,
said OTC, so I thought I'd go a bit pretentious and
appreciate that.
continental.
That's exactly the name of the game, mate. Absolutely.
exactly. And marzipan from me.
He loves a marzipan.
Marzipan,
Does it have to be in a shape?
Well, I mean, the best marzipans, as I've said, are the Mozart Kugeln, which are actually, of course, Austrian. But
Yeah.
I've no doubt they'll sell them in
But they're in a
Germany.
shape, are they?
Yeah, there's a little ball-like. There is a...
You just pop them like a revel, do you?
No, they're bigger than that.
But I mean, you just ploughing your way through them, or is it just you have
It's
one?
more
or-
like they're similar size to a Ferrero Rocher, that kind of thing.
Right.
Oh,
Yeah,
nice.
you've had one, Jim. I brought some in once.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, although they want the pure marzipan one. They had I think maybe a little bit of pistachio in there, so they were like the second rate ones, but still very good. Was your review?
Yeah, is that further vindication for you that I've had one?
Well, are you vindicating me?
I believe I am.
Well, there we are.
Marcus knows you had one. He was there. He saw it.
I think I spoke about the last time I was in Serbia, or the only time I've been in Serbia. I had a pizza with sort of like a Campbell's beef soup over the top of it, like a sort of
Right.
creamy.
Did you add that?
creamy soup on top of a pizza?
And
Oh yeah, you took a photo.
Yeah.
It's horrific.
And it was absolutely
horrific.
grotesque. So I think I'd probably go for that, to be honest. It tasted nice.
Seems a
We'll put
really
it-
easy thing to avoid that.
We'll put it on
Yeah.
the socials.
Soup on
We'll
pizza.
put it on the socials, but to prepare people, it just quite simply looks like the worst pizza of all time.
Yeah, this is the underneath the picture says easily top 20 of Serbian war crimes. just good stuff.
moving on swiftly
Good
to the
stuff.
final question from Ollie: will the parade on the 15th of July venture up to Manchester, or will it just be in London?
Very nice.
Yeah. Well, I
Very
think London is one of the two places in England based on that. So maybe it'll get to go to both.
I would find it odd if France did that, but there we are.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, we'd be celebrating a reform government as well at that point.
My
so
goodness.
fingers crossed.
It really
It's going to be a
could
big summer for all of us.
It could be a great summer, or we could have a couple of awful surprises.
Yeah.
Cheers for watching another fantastic clip from the Football Ramble podcast. Make sure you click like on this video and subscribe to the channel, which means you will not miss a single upload.